Texas AG Ken Paxton to ask judge to vacate seats of Dem lawmaker.
Yeah, this one here is kind of one of those rare times that I would actually completely agree with that. You were elected to do your job. You may not like your job, but fleeing the whole entire state versus doing a vote, that's just pathetic. You're a representative to the people of the state of Texas. Your job isn't to flee and go to Illinois. Your job is to literally stand up in the House and Senate in Texas and fight for the people there and say, hey, this is what we want. We don't want that. And if it means you filibuster and you do all the rest of the tools, you do those things. If you win, lose, or draw, that's just the way it goes. But you should be there to represent the people who elected you, who are paying you to be there. Now, I understand you don't like this redistricting. I don't see how anyone would believe a state where the majority is minority would lose out on Democrat seats, because I have faith in the voters that are even in the redistricting that they would still vote for a Democrat in those districts, in the new ones. Now, there are some Democrats who are going to lose their seat because they no longer live in those districts. But if they happen to flip districts, I don't know where the cities are going to be, but if it flips them out of one district and into another, they should still be able to get reelected. Because if they were doing a good enough job, they can convince the same level of people in the new redistricting to get elected. And some are going to say, well, these are gerrymandered to where you can only get Republicans elected. Hard to believe in a state where it's been pretty well balanced, that there's been a lot of times the Democrats led the state. And on top of that, if the minorities are at 6 out of 10 of every possible vote, you should be able to get that vote in your favor. This would be a Democrat failure in their ability to convince people to vote for more than it is a redistricting thing, in my opinion. You should be able to get the votes. Either have faith in your ability to convince others, even if they were in a district where there's, likelihood of more Republican. There's a lot of middle people like myself that all you got to do is really convince me that your agenda is better than the other. If you ever saw my voting record, you see them right about in the middle. Sometimes more Democrat, sometimes more Republican, but generally right down the middle. And it's because I read through what people do, and then that convinces me of what and how they're going to represent me in the state that I live in. And it's very, very important for people to understand that we are the major voters, the middle class, who are like, the middle voters who are like, look, convince me. I'll vote for whoever's the best. And if you're that good, you should be able to convince those voters, especially when you have the minority vote already in your favor, even if there's a redistricting. That's just my opinion. Period. Peace.